Good morning. Today's date is November 11th, 2025. Time is 1:30 a.m. Now, I'm just getting in from a long day, and I've had a lot of time to think about this CR vote that they had over in the Senate to open up the government. As I had stated before, we had a number of Democrats that were positioned privately anyway, at least, to vote for this continuing resolution, therefore opening up the government. Do I have any problems with opening up the government? Of course not. I lose tens of thousands of dollars and had so in the last month or so, waiting for this government to open up. But there are a lot of other people that will be permanently affected by this. So whatever sacrifice I can make, that's okay with me. The big issue is that the Democrats should have stayed the course on this. And the reason being is because if they let the Republicans get away with this, as they have many other things since this crazy orange man has been in office, then this is just one of many of the things that they will try to do at some point down the line. This was their chance to stay focused and to hold the line. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, because of the elections last Tuesday, you might say they had a mandate from the American people to say, hey, look, we're not okay with what these guys are doing. We need you to hold the line. As far as the furloughed workers are concerned, they should, by law, get their, get back pay. For the people like me who service the federal government, well, we're sort of out of luck. However, there is somewhat of a silver lining in all of this. And that is the fact that now the Republicans will own it 100%. Now, of course, this is not a done deal yet. This agreed upon vote must go back to the House. And it sits right in the lap of Mike Johnson. No longer can they say that the Democrats are keeping the government closed. It's in his lap. Either he has to do something with it, but then there's the question of, will everybody in the Republican Party, after seeing the shellacking that they took last Tuesday, are they going to go ahead with disenfranchising millions of people from their health care, having it taken away? And then, of course, the people who are not directly affected by the ACA, they'll see a rise in their premiums as well. Will they be okay with that? Will they vote for this? Or had they had time on their 3-month vacation to really think about this, and had they had a mouthful from their constituents telling them, hey, look, we're not okay with this. So let's see how this goes when it gets over to the House. Now, if the House passes it as is and it's okay with it, then again, keep in mind, the Republicans own it. And that's going to have political ramifications down the line. Now, as far as these individuals who voted, now, from what I understand, a lot of these people are either retiring or they're not up for this election cycle. It won't be till 2028, so they think that people will actually forget about it by then. But I'll tell you what, I won't forget. I know a lot of other, critical thinkers won't forget either, and they remember these guys. Now, I live in Virginia now, so one of the big disappointments is Tim Kaine, especially since Abigail Spanberger just won the governor's race, and he's going to go ahead and do this now. And his excuse is, we've got 100,000 plus federal workers here, and we needed to get them back to work. Hey, that sounds all well and good, but you're not looking at the long ball. It's sort of like a fireman coming in and rescuing you from a fire, only to throw you down the stairs. That's exactly what they did. They didn't rescue anybody from anything. They just made things worse, and there were no guarantees. The only promise they had was that they would have a vote like the middle of December on the future of the ACA, to have a vote. That's the only guarantee they had. I think there were several other things in there, such as extending or the food stamps or the SNAPs for a year, but you still have the Medicare cuts. You still have this is the big beautiful bill now. As a matter of fact, in this big beautiful bill, believe it or not, $300 million is allocated to this president to go golfing. $300 million to go golfing. Okay, and there's a lot of other stuff in there that people don't know about, which is going to directly affect them. And that's not, that's not just the Democrats, it's MAGA as well. All you guys listening who are MAGA, who are getting ready to jump and make some comments and make some, look, this is affecting you too. It's never been red against blue. It's always been red and blue against green. Keep that in mind. I'm an independent voter, so don't call me a liberal. Don't call me a crying liberal or, or Democrat. Nothing wrong with being a Democrat. But I'm not. I'm an independent voter. I just kind of look to see what's right or wrong. Anyway, let me go ahead and go into the people that might be that are responsible for all of this, and that is let's start off with Nevada's Catherine Cortez Masto, which she has been. If you look back on her voting patterns, she's been like she's been the stone in everybody's shoe on a lot of these issues, voting with the Republicans on several measures. So she's one to keep an eye on. Another Nevadan, was it Jackie Rosen? She's also in on it. Of course, Dick Durbin, he's retiring. He doesn't give a damn. Pennsylvania's John Fetterman. John's only working with half a brain now. He had a stroke. I feel bad for the guy, but he might want to go retire. You've got Maine's Angus King. He's an independent. He can go one way or the other. He doesn't give a darn. And you have New Hampshire's Janine Shaheen. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know she was on the Midas Touch, and she promised not to do something like this. I do follow the Midas Touch, and of course my favorite, and of course I will remember this guy. I did vote for him for governor. I did support him for the Senate, but I think that's where my support ends for this guy. I'm gonna hopefully have him primaried, or we're gonna have him primaried for his next election, and that's Tim Kaine. Tim, if you want to reach out to me and explain yourself, hey, have at it. But you're on my S list. Let's go ahead and put it that way. But anyway, as I was saying earlier, the silver lining is that now it goes back to the House. Mike Johnson has to get his people together from their 3-month vacation. Come on back and let's go ahead and vote on this thing. I know Marjorie Taylor Greene's not going to be a yes vote on this. But one thing, keep in mind about the Republicans, no matter how stupid their message is, no matter how much it goes against what's needed for the American people, these guys hold the line. These Democrats want to be, when we go, when you go low, we go high. They don't want to fight fire with fire. This is what you got to learn. These Republicans, they're playing with, they're boxing with bricks in their gloves. And these Democrats want to play fair. That's why the Democratic Party's always going to lose, because they're not willing to step up and fight fire with fire. Again, keep a look at the vote for the House and see what happens with that. Now, if this does go in effect and millions of people lose their health care, Medicaid is cut substantially, which is going to affect a lot of the red states as well, then the Republicans will definitely own it. And of course, it'll just make things worse and worse for them down the line. And we'll see them in 2026 and call them on that. Good enough? It's early in the morning or late at night, whichever you want to put it. Appreciate you listening. Repost. I'll come back at you later. Thanks.